You're listening to the WBT Podcast with Michael Lodge. Listen to all of our podcasts at www.wbtpod.com. Stay informed. Let's get started.
And welcome to the WBT. This is Michael Lodge. I'm glad that you've joined me. We have a little bit to talk about this morning. I really want to get involved. I want to get you involved in the thinking process of really how the rest of America thinks, besides the two states of California and New York. I'm getting ready to head out to Burbank, California, where my office is, and I'm going to start working there this next week on business tax returns. But before I leave, I want to go over some of the issues that I see going on in the United States, because we think so differently from state to state. But the big difference comes when you look at California and New York. These are two very liberal states that have no correlation to the rest of the country. So the United States is not just California and New York. Let's just throw that out there right now. Yesterday morning I was going to get my car repaired in Greenville, South Carolina. And I stopped and had breakfast at a coffee shop known as Jimmy's, a typical Southern coffee shop with the best breakfast that you have ever seen. If you like biscuits and gravy, it's the best place to go. I sat there and decided to observe just a little bit the people around me. No one had a cell phone out. Everyone was having a variety of conversations. The music in the background on the radio was religious music. And I must tell you that it really did feel like home. People talking to people. I even put my cell phone away after I took a picture of the food, of course, because that's a typical California trait that you have to take pictures of all of your food, which is, I don't know, so stupid, but we do it anyway. Now, if I had been in a restaurant in Southern California, everyone would have had their cell phones out and pretty much looking at them and not having any type of conversation. No eye-to-eye contact. No face-to-face contact. The mindset in California is no longer about conversations. Instead, it is about me. Only about their individual needs. How they can outdo everybody on Twitter or Instagram, Facebook, and whatever the other social networks out there that people are using now. The conversation of life has gone to the side of the road because it is only about me. That is the truth. Only because I am and have been a Californian all my life. I revert back into California, and I hate it. And I have put an end to it, to tell you the truth. My phone now will be kept in the car when I go into dinner with friends or business associates. I think I have to kick my addiction to social media nonsense. Because we get so bogged down in Twitter and Facebook and everything else, it's addictive. And I think we all have to kick this addictive habit. Well, I see my godchildren. I see them sitting there playing with games and on their cell phone, texting their friends. And we have to come up with a better way to communicate. And it's got to be that face-to-face, eye-to-eye contact. But what I really want to stress is that the mindset, the thinking process is so very much different from California and New York. In the South and the rest of the country, they don't spend hours on politics. They do watch, they do comment, but they are disgusted with government. If you bring up Senator Graham's name from here in South Carolina, they're all fed up with him. The name Pelosi, Schiff, and Schumer are at the level of the devil and all the fallen angels. That's how they feel. The views of the rest of the country sees America totally different from California and New York. They are very middle of the road, centralistic, but will not take stupidity. I heard one lady the other day in a restaurant talking about politics, and her comment was, "These politicians are the gates of hell." So that's kind of how people really feel about when they see these people in politics spouting nonsense or spouting hate, which pretty much describes all politicians if you really think about the comment of the lady. But here, in the rest of the nation, they are neither far right or far left. They believe in God, and God takes priority over everything in these people's lives here in the South especially. The problem is that liberals only, they have this tunnel vision, and their visions are tunnel vision views, and don't care about what the rest of America thinks. When Americans see that there is corruption in government, they want it cleaned up right now. And they don't understand why it isn't being done. In California and New York, it is a political agenda, and there is no care in the world what the rest of the nation feels or thinks about. The other issue is that liberals do not understand that Trump was elected based on what Americans wanted to change. It was not about political party. Trump heard what Americans were saying and built a relationship with Americans based upon what he heard and on the needs of America. California and New York do not speak for the rest of the nation, for the rest of our country. So what comes into play? We get back to that silent majority. They are not out there marching, slinging slogans, pushing a political agenda. Instead, they see what needs to be done and vote with their hearts and minds, not based on politics, but based on what the needs of America are. It is the real world in all the other states between California and New York. So I encourage everyone, turn off your cell phone, social media. Turn off the news. If you need to answer an email for business, then answer it. But don't then jump over to Facebook to see what's going on. You have someone in front of you. Talk to them. Limit your time following the liberal media. Shut it off after 30 minutes and go write a blog about something, about life, about business, whatever you want to write about. Call a friend to see how they are doing. Maybe even call your parents for a change. Get back into the real world. That is really very enjoyable. The best funny story comes from a friend face to face. The best wisdom comes from a friend or family member that has been through life. The best spiritual reward is praying with each other. There's so much more that you can do. Get over the addiction. Get over the addiction of your cell phone and social media. Get back into the walk of life. You're going to be rewarded greatly when you sit across from somebody and talk to them face to face. But just remember, the way that the rest of the country looks at politics and looks at the injustices of the world and looks at the corruption that is going on in government is far different from those in California and New York. So when I see Californians, politicians, and when I see New York politicians spouting nothing but spin and nothing but junk, I know it's time to shut them off, because they're no longer working for you and me. They're working for their political agenda. And that's where it becomes very, very dangerous for Americans, because we're no longer represented. Our voices are no longer heard, because we have California and we have New York politicians corrupting the political process and corrupting democracy and corrupting our ability to speak out. But we can take it back by our vote, by our silent majority. We can change this nation. So I encourage each and every single one of you, get up, let's change our lives. Let's take back control. This is Mike Lodge for the WBT. I will talk with you soon.
Thank you for listening to the WBT with Michael Lodge. Join us again tomorrow as we explore more about business and taxes. Follow us on iHeartRadio and go to our podcast website at www.wbtpod.com and listen to all of our podcasts and read our blogs.
World of Business and Taxes on WBT.
This is brought to you by Lodge & Co., a business and tax advisory firm where your success is our goal. Call us today toll-free at 888-681-1518 or visit us at www.lodge-co.com and learn more about what we can do for you. Lodge & Co., your source for sound business and tax services.